Okay guys, as promised, the next mission would have been to make the impossible possible, and that is fitting XM competition seats into my X6 E71. Not an easy job at all, let me tell you that straight away. Don't look at those because I'll have to take everything back off, spray them in black, and then just put the rest of the trims off. Not an easy job like I said, but essentially all the seat out, so that one there, and it's 4 bolts like this on each corner. Take the main plug out, seat out of the way. Then for this particular job I've tried to be provident, and I've got my drawings there. Didn't end up using them much, but anyway, everything works. A bit unexpected really, but everything works. I even managed to trace those wires that is actually lit to get that logo lit. I've got all the functions here, everything works. My older seats only had this one electric, and they would go up and down as in like that, but back and forth it would be manual, and they're electric heated seats there. Now these being competitions, they are heated and cooled as well. There is about 10 fans in the seat all around. Couldn't get them to work because it's just impossible to communicate the module. They are generations apart, my car and the seats. My car is an E platform, the seats are F, towards the end of the F as well. But I've got all of this to work, so I've got the lumbar support working, the whatever that is, but there is 2 mini compressor there, and these things inflate and deflate. And then the lumbar support, there is also another mini compressor there, so it inflates out, and then you can move it up or down, deflate or inflate with this, and everything works amazingly. My seat belt is bolted back to the seat, that's the original bolt. I'm gonna chop it off so it doesn't stick out. That's all gonna be covered anyway. The other thing I've kept is my seat belt buckle and pretensioner, because my seat didn't come with it, so I've just decided to reuse my old one, and that of course meant that I could just plug this straight back in. I've not touched the car wiring harness, of course. I've done all the butching down here on this side. This plug comes from my seat. I had to cut some plugs off my old seat to make them work, but in a nutshell, all it is, which was my idea anyway, is, like I said, it's impossible to get it to like coded and everything to work properly, so this is pretty much the only way of getting them to work. These seats for some reason did not come with an airbag in there, it's being removed, so I had to put a resistor in there for that airbag. I'm waiting for my soldering iron to charge because it's a battery one, and then I'll solder this other resistor to this, and that's it for the airbags, because at the moment I've got an airbag light. And then this is the module. My old seat didn't have a module. This one of course it does, because it's got loads of features. This is the assembly, the switch assembly. This one here is not used because it's the ventilation for cooling system, which, like I said, is a switched ground, so it's just all about signals and sensors that I've not got a chance to make them work, so I'll never get to work. This could be unplugged. Then you got the feed for the module, and all I've done here, I've just fed the plus 12 volts and GND, the ground, from my car of course, and those 2 are just the plugs that you don't really do nothing with it, because they just communicate with the rest of the seat. Now that will give you essentially, if you just feed that plug there, the middle one, with plus 12 and GND, it will give you the movements. To get the heating to work is a different story, because of course this seat has a module for that and my car doesn't. So those two plugs missing there, they are the cushion and the backrest heating. So I have unplugged them, and on my own old seat this little guy does the heating. So I have fed the module plus 12 volts and GND, didn't do, oh, and then I've just put the CAN bus back together because I had to cut it, because the heated seats of course are controlled from here, and this is part of the CIC unit, the iDrive, so that sends a signal by CAN bus there, even for the different settings of the temperature 1, 2 and 3. So you just put the CAN bus back together, which I had to cut just to free the wires from the wiring loom in the seat. If you can manage to get it out without cutting them, happy days. I had to cut it. And then the two plugs, brown and black, they actually corresponded to the seat plugs in terms of color, but the pins are different. So on the new one, I think that's one, yeah, 1 is the pause and 3 is the neg. Same that one on that module there. So on the car is the other way around. Number 1 is the ground and number 3 is the positive. So if you plug it straight in, you're gonna blow something up. So I had to chop, and I've done my connections there. The old seat will only have one sensor, and I've put that sensor where it belongs to, essentially, and from the seat the other sensor is not used, so it doesn't matter. I've used the sensor for the temperature of this because this gets hot quicker, so I wanted them to start modulating the power down by monitoring this rather than that, but they both work anyway. And essentially just plug it back in. I saw my connection there. This needs tidying up, of course, don't judge me for that, but like I said, not an easy job, but the result is pretty impressive. So happy days. Now I'm gonna have to do the driver's seat. I've started with the passenger because I didn't know how it was gonna go, so at least I could still drive my car. And then once I've done that, I'm gonna attempt to change them too, because I also have the rear bench, which again is not going to be easy, but that one, it'll only be mechanical. I don't have heated seats there, and I don't want to start messing around with adding switches and stuff just for the sake of having the heated rear seats. Once if I can get them in, then I'll be left with these leather in beige, and I'm just gonna take it off, get it retrimmed or dye it. So if they go in, then I'm gonna turn my car into red interior. If they really can't go in, then I'm gonna dye these two in beige. So yeah, in a nutshell, that is pretty much it. Pretty cool mod, not easy at all, like literally I can't stress this enough. But yeah, the result is pretty cool. Like I said, that's lit, if you can see. Really not easy. Oh, as for the mechanical fitting, of course the rails are closer to each other by 30 mil, so they couldn't bolt straight on, so I've made myself some brackets like this where I could bolt. It's a square section, so I can get my finger in there, so I could bolt the bracket to the floor, and then I could drill my new holes for the seats, so everything is secured down.